Hello, everybody. My name is Tsetsentsolmon, or just Tsetse in short. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Peter Marsh, Dr. Ingstitsek, and Eric, all the organizers of this fascinating event, which help people understand modern hуур not only as a musical instrument, but also as a part of Mongolian society and culture in a broader sense. I'm grateful and delighted that I could have this opportunity to present my paper at this wonderful event. Title of my today's talk is Cultural Continuity and Discontinuity, Modern Hуур Practices in Post-Socialist Mongolia. What I'm trying to elaborate in this paper is that modern hуур practices reflect social and cultural transformations of continuity and discontinuity in post-socialist Mongolia. I'm going to present different voices on modernity and tradition at the edge of the two systems, state socialism and, so to say, democracy or free market economy. This paper further demonstrates post-socialist ideological maneuvers coupled with state socialist practices. While the state still deals with what was built in the socialist era, focusing heavily on professional arts institutions, individual freelance artists are more liberated in genres, expressions, and ideologies. Let me start with a very short introduction to the social and ideological shifts as a context. After the collapse of the socialist regime and the rise of the so-called democratic revolution, the country was renamed Mongolia, or the state of Mongolia, Mongol also. In the process of deconstructing the socialist identity and constructing a new identity, the chief ideologies became pre-socialist tradition, which is seen as a true, deep, and genuine national past, and nationalism, with a tremendous resurgence of interest in Genghis Khan, Chinggisid legacies, and the Mongolian Empire. Some rituals were reinvented or reconnected from not only pre-socialist time, but also further from the Mongol Empire and the Xiongnu period. I'm not going into too much detail on that because you could find the details in the full paper in the conference proceedings later, which will be published by the organizers. But here I quote Lars Hoyer, who describes the situation. Breaking away from socialism was to return to what socialism had broken away from. When socialism was gone, it was thus only to be expected that the imagined alter ego of socialism, pre-socialist, independent, and traditional Mongolia would emerge in some form or another. Apart from deconstructing the socialist identity, or I call discontinuity of state socialism, in the newly established state of Mongolia, many systematic and structural elements have continued in the cultural and artistic spheres until today. Secular education system, health service, urbanization, industrialization, intellectual apparatus, and so on. Soviet-style European classical music and ballet and institutionalized folk music turned out to be sources of national pride and became an object of nationalization and politicization. I'm going to introduce two sets of examples showing institutional and ideological transformations. One is the state modern hуур ensemble, which shows the continuity in the state socialist ideology of modernity and tradition. The other is the attempts of freelance artists glorifying the pre-socialist culture moved to the eras of the Mongol Empire and further to Xiongnu period. Here I'm starting with the modern hуур ensemble. The state modern hуур ensemble was established by the government resolution in 1992. The modern hуур was elevated as a national icon in the campaign for cultural revival by the democratic state. This process is elaborated more in detail in Peter Marsh's well-known book, The Horsehead Fiddle and the Cosmopolitan Reimagination of Tradition in Mongolia from 2008. Along with the process of revaluing the cultural past, the modern hall ensemble also continued the concept of socialist modernity, being set up with professional musicians trained in the music and dance college and in a European-style chamber orchestra. Furthermore, instrument designs, techniques, and tuning were assimilated to European classical cellos. While constructing a new cultural identity, the ideology is still connected to state socialist culture. Moreover, the ensemble was designed as a continuation of socialist policies of modernization, as despite the strength of their nationalistic sentiments, the political, the intellectual, and cultural elites, elites of the new democratic state were late socialist elites steeped in the culture that NPR or Mongolian People's Republic had constructed. State was involved with the modern hall ensemble not only for its establishment, but also for its further maintenance as part of the State Philharmonic, a state-funded organization, and the modern hall as a state-protected instrument. During the riot on July 1st of 2008, which had been triggered by allegations of electoral fraud, rioters set fire to the headquarters of the Mongolian People's Party and the Cultural Palace housing the National Modern Art Gallery, the State Philharmonic, and other cultural organizations. All the instruments and costumes of the Morin ensemble were burned. The Morin ensemble was immediately restored with the support of the government's subsidy and public donation. Mr. Bacholong, who was the conductor and one of the initiators of the Morin ensemble, recalls, "We cannot forget all the people who helped us sincerely. An old couple who brought their pension and hardly found their way home, and a little boy who gave the money he collected by singing in the street." This event demonstrates the nationalistic sentiment toward the instrument as the iconic symbol of national identity. Along with processes that nationalize the instrument and the institution in another dimension is the emergence of a market-oriented approach. Mongolia's transition was not only from Soviet-style communism to a democratic and pluralistic society, but also from a centrally planned to a market economy. The Morin ensemble arranges and performs commercial concerts by amalgamating popular music repertoires to reach a broader audience in the last couple of years. Here I have the poster of the recital dedicated to the 60th anniversary of the Beatles. While the state socialist advancement was to be mixed with European classical music, the post-socialist concept of modernity is understood to be aligned with Western or American popular music. The recital, called Novel Melody, performed by the Morin ensemble in December 2011, included Latin American and Afro-American repertoires by artists such as George Gershwin, Michael Jackson, and Louis Armstrong. In particular, Thriller, a big hit of Michael Jackson, was appreciated by the audience and gained much attention via Facebook and YouTube. Here I have a short video to play for you, just to give an impression. You just heard a piece of thriller performed by the State Morin Ensemble, and anyway, you could access more on YouTube. The standardization of the Morin and its juxtaposition to Western stringed instruments, the violin, viola, and cello, is taken for granted. The Morin had always been compared with and aligned to the Western cello in particular. The enhancement and upgrading of the instrument provided the means to play foreign pieces, largely from Russia and Eastern Europe during the Socialist era, and from Western Europe and America in the Post-Socialist era. Other popular music projects are a series of performances entitled Playing Love, 1, 2, 3, in which pieces were selected from the soundtracks of Mongolian and Hollywood films. The Morin Ensemble claims a greater purity and authenticity of musical form, and they present ideological shifts from Soviet-style modernism to globalization, popularization, and nationalization. In the following slides, I'm going to show freelance folk music groups, in particular Altın Urak, a commercially and artistically successful freelance band, as an example of both the nationalist orientation and the successful popularization of Mongolian folk music in the post-socialist Mongolia. Altın Urak, defined as a folk rock, ethno-rock, or ethnic contemporary band, one of the first groups that brought an innovative energy to Mongolian folk music and then sold it on the free market. Having the name of the great emperor Chinggis Khan's lineage, Altın Urak aimed to introduce the Mongolian national music not only to the local audience, but also to global music lovers. Altın Urak strikingly replaced the head of the Morin with a line head, electrified the instrument, and called it Mangas Hor, the monster head fiddle. Their performances particularly attract the youth by combining European-inspired rock timbre and rhythms with traditional ones. They burst onto the music scene in 2004, wearing traditional black costumes and long hair. In the first performances, they used the lion-headed electric mangas hor with a heavy beat and a traditional rhythm of 1/8 and 2/16 imitating the gait of a horse. Aiming both to connect with cultural past and at the same time to cultivate a Western rock image, the monster-headed fiddle combines the evocation of national cultural identity with the global influence of European rock. Altın Urak tried to modify the instrument by adding a pickup for amplification to create a guitar-like sound and change the head to produce a rock image. They retained the original acoustic timbre of the Morin in the other fiddle and the bishkur. The most important reason to save the original timbre of the Morin, Ertenbat, the leader of Altın Urak, says, was to bring the authentic energy and sound of the traditional instrument to the audience. They characteristically adopt rhythms and tunes of traditional tatlaq, a type of melody performed on the horse-headed fiddle illustrating a legendary theme, and arrange them in a similar way to European guitar solos. The native rhythm consisting of 1/8 and 2/16 typifies the gait of a horse to the melodies, like dum da da dum da da. Altın Urak changed the rhythm to what they consider more modern by adding 2 more 16ths, which is like dum da 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 dum da 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 da. So here I have images of their albums and a piece of video. So from this piece of music, inspired by the Rachmaninoff's Piano Concert 2, you would notice the very interesting combination of classical, folk, and rock music. Alto was followed by several other similar groups attempting to combine traditional music with other popular music genres. It includes Домог, Jonong, Husugtung, Arag Bilig, and Burte, Tingir Aylfu, who have proclaimed themselves as representing ethno-jazz or ethnic ballad. In 2012, 5 folk music bands performed in a concert, Mongol. And in 2013, there was a concert entitled Mongol Tuksishkui. These are a series of concerts promoting national identity with support of the then president of Mongolia, Ilbek Dorj. The most recent sensation in Mongolian music culture is the emergence of the folk rock band The Who and its success in the world music market. Their song and follow-up video Wolf Totem have generated over 13 million hits and reached #1 on the Billboard Hard Rock Digital chart. The hard rock and metal newsletter Revolver published an article titled The Who Mongolian Folk Metal Sensations Aim to Conquer the World, where it says that the Hunu rock band are already unlikely viral YouTube stars. Now channeling the spirit of Genghis Khan, they are ready to expand their empire. Calling their style the Hunu rock, connecting to the deep past of the ancient state, the Who combine sentiments of nationalism, masculinity, the Mongolian empire, authenticity, and modernity. The band immediately became a source of national pride, and the populist politics instrumentalized it very immediately. The attempts to construct a national identity based on the deep historical past and offer it on the global market are not only by artists, but are also part of foreign policy. Here I'm coming to my conclusion. This paper presents modern hauur practices within emergence, re-emergence, continuities and discontinuities, and transformations of cultural constructs, ideologies, and settings in post-socialist Mongolia. Along with the democratic revolution, nationalism based on a pre-socialist cultural past became central. Socialist national culture became a source for the market economy and a vehicle to manipulate political ideologies. The process was renationalization of what was nationalized in the socialist era. The state stuck to the system built by state socialism by heavily prioritizing professional arts institutions. Meanwhile, freelance artists emerged more in liberated ways, genres, expressions, and ideologies. Alton and other folk music groups are attempting to incorporate elements drawn from the reprocessed national folk genre into international rock pop forms, and to generate new forms of musical synthesis for national and international consumption. The idea of combining modernity and tradition and the old and new, which might have an inheritance of the state socialist vision of modernity, is a common strategy for cultural productions in both public and private spheres, in particular for export abroad. During the country's transition to a market economy, music culture is being commercialized and popularized. Thank you very much.